There's a moment in every relationship when you realize the person you love isn't who you thought they were. For me, that moment came when my girlfriend looked me in the eye and said, "If you really loved me, you'd co-sign this $100,000 loan for my ex." I didn't get angry. I didn't yell. I just laughed. Not because it was funny, but because it was so absurd, so completely detached from reality, that my brain short-circuited. She didn't laugh. She didn't even crack a smile. She just sat there, deadly serious, like she'd just asked me to pass the salt, not risk my entire financial future for the guy she used to date. And when she showed up at the bank with him a week later, the documents waiting on that desk didn't just change her mind, they ended our relationship. Because what she didn't know, what neither of them knew, was that I wasn't there to co-sign a loan. I was there to close the books. Every relationship has that one person on the outside who just seems to be waiting for it to fail. For me, that person was Kevin, my girlfriend Maya's ex, a man less real than the idea of him, a walking, talking cautionary tale wrapped in a leather jacket and a smile that said, "Trust me, this time it's different." He was in his early 30s, never held a real job longer than 6 months, and had a new world-changing business idea every time he ran out of rent money. One month, it was a subscription box for artisanal hot sauce. The next, a dating app for pet owners who believed in astrology. Then came the food truck, gourmet, farm-to-table, elevated street cuisine. His words, not mine. All he needed was $100,000 to buy the truck, lease a spot downtown, and launch his culinary revolution. The problem, no bank would touch him. His credit score was in the toilet, his business plan, written on a napkin at a bar, and his track record, a graveyard of failed side hustles and broken promises. But Maya, she believed in him. Not just believed, worshipped him. They'd dated for years before me. And even after they broke up, she never really let go. To her, Kevin wasn't a deadbeat. He was a misunderstood genius, a creative soul crushed by a system that didn't appreciate vision. He just needs one good break, she'd say, every time another idea crashed and burned. He's not like you, Jake. You're stable, grounded, but he's different. He's an artist. And I'd nod, because I wasn't jealous. I was a financial advisor. I assessed risk for a living, and Kevin, he wasn't a risk. He was a guaranteed loss. But I loved Maya. We'd been together 4 years. We lived in my condo, a place I'd bought with the first real money I'd ever made. We had a joint savings account for a house. We talked about marriage, kids, vacations, the whole dream. I thought we were building something real. Turns out, I was building it alone, because every partnership has that one asset that looks good on paper but bleeds money in silence. For me, it was Kevin, and Maya was his ATM. She never asked me for big things, never said, "Hey, can you give me $10,000? It was always small. "Can you spot me for my car payment this month? My credit card's maxed. Can you cover these groceries? Kevin needs $500 to fix his van. I'll pay you back next week." And I did, because I loved her, because I could afford it, because it felt like part of being a couple, helping each other out. But looking back, it wasn't love, it was enabling. And the second I said yes to that loan, I realized something. This wasn't about Kevin. It was about control. She was testing me, testing whether I'd put her happiness, her loyalty to him, above my own survival. And in that moment, I made a decision. I wouldn't fight her. I wouldn't argue. I'd play along. Because sometimes the best way to kill a bad investment isn't to argue about it, it's to audit it. So I looked at her, still smiling from my laugh, and said, "Okay." Her eyes widened. "You'll do it." "Yeah," I said, "but not without due diligence." I told her I'd never co-sign a loan without reviewing the business plan, the numbers, the risk, that we'd go to my bank, meet with my loan officer, Carol, a woman who's handled my accounts for over a decade. We'd sit down, go over everything, and if it made sense, I'd sign on the spot. She exploded with joy, wrapped her arms around me. called me the best man in the world. She thought this was a formality, a box to check. She had no idea I wasn't setting up a loan. I was setting up a reckoning. Kevin called me that night. First time he'd ever reached out. "Hey man, just wanted to say thanks," he said, voice dripping with fake gratitude. "Maya said you finally saw the bigger picture. Knew you were a good guy deep down." I just said, "Can't wait to see the business plan." And then I got to work, because while they were celebrating, I was auditing. I pulled 2 years of bank statements, credit card bills, Venmo logs, joint account, withdrawals. Every time she'd asked for money, every time I'd paid for something that wasn't ours, every cash withdrawal that matched a text saying, "Kevin's in a jam," I cross-referenced it all, dates, amounts, context, and when I added it up, $19,873, almost $20,000 of my money funneled through her into his pockets, and she never even tried to pay me back. So I built a spreadsheet, clean, professional, every transaction laid out like a forensic report. Then I called my lawyer. 2 documents. First, a formal loan agreement, turning that $20,000 into a legally binding debt from her to me. Interest. Repayment terms, due upon dissolution of our domestic partnership. Second, the dissolution agreement, ending our relationship, outlining her move-out timeline, final asset split, everything, because I wasn't just protecting myself, I was restructuring. The day of the meeting came. I met them in the bank lobby. Kevin was wearing a brand new suit, probably bought with the last of her credit. He carried a thin folder, his business plan. Maya squeezed my hand. "You're doing a great thing, Jake," she whispered, like I was sacrificing myself for her cause. We walked into the glass-walled conference room. Carol was already there, sharp, calm, wearing her I've seen every scam in the book face. We sat. Kevin slid his folder across the table like he was presenting at Shark Tank. "I think you'll find it's a very exciting opportunity," he said. Carol didn't even open it. She pushed it aside. "We'll get to that," she said, voice crisp. "But first, we have a pre-existing financial matter to address." She turned to me. "Jake, you have the documents." I placed a thick, bound folder on the table, slid copies to Maya, and Kevin. Maya frowned. "What's this?" "That," I said, "is due diligence. Open it." She did. First page. The spreadsheet, $20,000. 2 years, every dollar, every lie. I watched her face. The color drained. Her hands started to shake. Kevin leaned over, squinting. "What is this?" "This is private." "No," I said. "It's my bank statement, and it's why we're here. Before I co-sign a $100,000 loan for you. Kevin, I need to make sure my own finances are stable, and right now, I have a $20,000 unsecured debt, a loan I gave to my partner, who used it to fund you." I turned to Maya. "The second document is a repayment agreement. It formalizes the debt you owe me. I need you to sign it." She just stared, mouth open, no words. "And the third," I said, "is the dissolution of our domestic partnership. You have 30 days to vacate my property. All shared assets are accounted for. And once you sign, this relationship is over." Silence, thick, heavy, like the air had been vacuumed out. Maya looked at me like I'd stabbed her, but slowly, something worse replaced the shock. Understanding, she came here to save Kevin. Instead, she was being handed an eviction notice and a lawsuit. Kevin, he looked like someone had unplugged him. His entire plan relied on Maya having access to money. To me, now, she was on the hook, legally, financially. Her credit would tank, and he'd lose his golden ticket. "You can't do this," she whispered, tears in her eyes. "Carol," I said. The loan officer cleared her throat. "Actually," she said, dry as dust, "he can. These documents are legally sound. Do you have a pen, or should I provide one?" They left in silence, stormed out, technically, but the damage was done. My lawyer sent a letter the next day, sign the agreements, or we take this to court. Public, expensive. A week later, a courier delivered the signed, notarized documents to my office. She moved out, back to her parents' house. The $20,000 debt, now a legal judgment, she'll be paying me back for years. Every payment a reminder of what she chose. As for Kevin, the second he realized she couldn't help him anymore, he vanished. Stopped calling, stopped replying. The food truck, still on a napkin, and me. I didn't do this to hurt her. I did it because love shouldn't require financial suicide. She wanted me to co-sign a loan for her ex. So I made her sign one for me. And in the end, that was the only fair deal on the table, because real love doesn't ask you to risk everything for someone else's dream. It protects what you've built, even if it means walking away. And sometimes, the most loving thing you can do is say no.